Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us here safely and somewhat timely. Please help us to stay connected and with good hearing, with no static, and breaking up so that we can be productive and be with those that are still on their way. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
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 First
Record the
question.
meeting.
It is recording. It's recording. This is
Are
live.
you
This whole time? Oh.
It
No,
says
no.
live now, or it still says off air on my side?
It says live on my side.
Does anybody else see live on theirs?
Nope.
I see live.
Okay, as long as somebody says live, I'm good.
I'm live.
All right, sounds
I'm
good.
live.
Okay, so
My neck hurt.
the first question is, what is quorum? We have 10 churches. What constitutes quorum? When can we begin a meeting?
I say
I'm recommending 6, but it took us 30 minutes to get 6 people on
All right.
I think ahead each team leader, if we can find out who will be available ahead of time, then you can then you can know, Roland, we can report back to you and say, hey, look, these how many people. We find out, say only 6 people can make it. I think maybe 3 or 4 would out of 6. If there's 10 people can make it for the evening, I think 6 should be whatever the average is of how many people we confirm that can make it that evening. That's my suggestion.
Sure, sure, sure. Any other thoughts?
I mean, originally when you said it, I was thinking, okay, well then we need 6 representatives from of all the churches. But yeah, like Luke is saying, we'd have to be able to confirm that they're even coming before we just say we're waiting and hoping that they'll show up.
Have we asked if there's a reason why people have not been coming on time? I mean, I got my reason. I know I'm late. But if this time is not working for people, maybe they can suggest a better time so that we can be more timely.
Right.
So that could be, and I mean, I sent the email out today, so hopefully it's not too short notice. But if there is a better time for people, we can kind of discuss that so that it doesn't roll over too much. So we can have proper representation as well.
I think what you said made a lot of sense. I don't know, I don't want to, and my style is never to put people on blast. So what Luke and I will do is over the course of this week, we'll make some inquiries and ask people, does the time work for them, and see if 8:30 is a better time. I don't know.
Roland, can you look at the bottom of your screen and just see if there's any viewers on YouTube, because we have to take that into account as well.
No, it says 0 viewers.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I apologize. I've been on time tonight. I was a little late. I was still on the computer taking care of some other business, so I apologize about that for me tonight.
You are forgiven.
Yeah, I think Luke and I will have to follow up with everyone just to confirm the start time. I know Abby is slightly driven by selfish desires because she would prefer if we could start at 8:30.
Because I'm trying to get my financial peace life in order.
Yes.
Yep,
Thank you,
yep.
Crystal.
And we definitely support that. We
I
definitely support
support
that.
it.
Yeah. So
You know if you need a cheat sheet.
My
I do.
personal perspective is we all have to be accountable. I mean, we can't make it, but then we still have to prioritize. That's my personal opinion. But we can talk about that later on, Roland. That's just
yeah. No, we'll definitely talk about that. Definitely talk about it. So I think what I'm hearing is Luke had a suggestion, and his suggestion is that In addition to us calling everyone to see if the start time works, we're also, in advance of our meetings, we'll kind of have a sense, he and I will have a sense of who plans on coming. And based upon that number, that we'll do 50% plus one, and that will be the quorum for the meeting. Is everyone okay with that? Do they feel that's democratic enough?
Yes, if you'd like to contact everybody all the time,
So
yes.
if you want to be in control of that and I don't have to be a part of it, that's fine by me.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, that would be a Luke and me. That would be our responsibility. As long as you guys are comfortable that if four people said it, I guess if three people are on the call, you know, and only four people said they were going to be, to participate, then three people would be enough to make decisions for that night.
Well, you must be present.
Hey, Roland,
So,
is it can we start doing what we do closer to the due date and start sending out possibly agendas ahead of the game? So, say if you want to hear from volunteers, for example, and this is a volunteer call to make sure that we are making progress and getting updated information so that say next week we want to hear about the music lineup. Crystal would have to be there to tell us about it, but kind of just receiving updates from each section and hope maybe that will hold people a little bit more accountable if they know what they're going to be hearing about or they have to present themselves.
Sure, sure.
I
Yeah,
like that.
I have to get much better on sending out agendas. I haven't really I've dropped the ball on that so far, but I think now that folks and since I mean let's kind of transition. I think everyone seems to be. Oh, as a matter of fact, I want to make sure everyone is okay. Where did Mahala go? See, we already lost someone, but I want to make
Yes.
sure that everyone's okay with Luke's idea. So I heard Abby. So Jessica, I haven't heard you say yay or nay, or if you have an alternative suggestion.
That I mean, I'm going to commit to every call, but I'm okay with that.
Okay, and Mahala texted and said, "Sorry, my connection keeps dropping. Sundays at 8 p.m. works for me." So, but yeah, so that's a different question. So it seems like that's what we'll do. We'll Luke and I will field calls during preceding to the call, and we won't let everyone know, but we will have an idea at the beginning of the call what quorum would be, and so we'll move like that. Something else I want to update everyone. You heard me say, well, Luke this, Luke that, Luke and I with this, Luke and I with that. Um, I think a couple of weeks ago at our last meeting, I shared with you that we're going to divide ourselves into teams. And so the way the teams have been divided is that I will be responsible for some churches, and Luke will be responsible for other churches. And what that means is that that we both will be the ones who will be following up with folks. And so briefly, Luke, do you have your list with you? Can you share the churches or that you're responsible for? That you'll be following up and the kind of stuff that you would be doing with them.
All right. I am responsible for RPC, Metro, New Hope, Wheaton, and Seabrook. Well, is well basically I guess Roland will fall you fall under me and we just check up on each other, right?
Right, right, right,
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So
Yeah, so Luke is my accountability partner. He's the one that makes sure that I'm doing whatever the heck it is that I said I'm going to do or that I'm supposed to do. And so those are his churches. If you have any questions, the going forward, the plan is that you go through Luke. If your church was called, then Luke is your contact point person for your role and your responsibility, and he would work with you to help you develop, whatever it is that you need to do, address whatever issue it is that you have. And so that means the remaining churches or remaining activities would come to me. So Brinklow, CPC, Community of Hope, uh, Miracle, Tacoma Park, and the music and the budget, they would still come through. They would still come to me, and then everything else would go to Luke. So if you have questions, and to be clear, if you go on the share drive, you'll notice that it's now been color coordinated so that you see some of them that the first half it has a RB that lets you know Roland Blackman, and so everyone under RB that lets you know who your point of contact is, and then you'll see the next half says LG, and that's for Luke Gabriel. So everyone under Luke, you know that's where you would go. So this information that we're sharing with you now is available in the share drive. Are there any questions about that? You know, like maybe how it works or whatever. I don't know.
Not for me.
Okay. Well, if that is that, yep. Um, so then the next thing that I would like to raise is a conversation that I recently had last week with Abby and with Keen, and and did Keen say he's coming, Luke?
Um, actually, I didn't get a chance. I didn't text him. I didn't
Okay.
text him. I thought I texted.
Well, he'll probably join a little bit later. But
Yeah.
what I was sharing with Keen was that, or what he shared with me. Well, this past Thursday was the monthly meeting at Berry Farms. I think everyone on the call except Mahala and Crystal has been to one of these meetings. So this doesn't really pertain, to the group who's here tonight. But there was a meeting scheduled, and no one from the church, from our churches, participated. None of us attended. Thankfully, we had already assigned Keen, or Keen volunteered to be the main chief point of contact, so he would always go to those meetings. But the plan was that he would go, but other churches would still come. So he just would be, he would be the constant, but everyone else still needs to participate. And and part of it is our fault because, or my fault, because I didn't like insist upon identifying who that next person would be like during that call, and so because of that, no one responded and no one volunteered. Therefore, no one did it. And so one of the concerns that he expressed was, "Hey, man, Roland, I'm concerned that that Park and Praise is too focused on being a day activity, and we're not focused on the days leading up to July 30th." And what he means by that is, in the past 3 years, this is year four. The past 3 years, Park and Praise has been a day event. On the day of the last Saturday in July, we do an amazing service project. Lives are impacted. Volunteers come out. We have a great time praising God and sharing our love and our ministry with others. It's been an awesome way to do God's work on the Sabbath, and not like do it on another day, but like truly what the Sabbath is about, which is service. And and his concern is that we kind of are still stuck in that mode, that model, that thought that Park and Praise is a one-day event. And and I was chatting with Abby later, and basically, I think it's an appropriate time to remind all of us that one of the things that we spoke about at the debriefing last year was that our volunteers and even you guys said that that's not what you wanted. You wanted Park and Praise to be an opportunity to change communities, for us to build relationships, for us to make a long-term impact, and not just be there and then gone, and there's no follow through. And so the way this year has been structured is that we've built in follow through, we've built in opportunities for us to connect with people in the community. But that only works if we're all on board with that mindset and that concept. And the way one way in which we show that we're on board with that concept is by everyone doing what's required of us. And the basic requirement, this is truly basic. The basic requirement is just for us to show up to a meeting once a month. That's all. That's all it is. Once a month for us to attend one of these community meetings. They all those who have been to the meetings know, they being the Berry Farm residents, they have a lot of other stuff, activities that are going on that they would like us to plug into, and I think as a group, ideally we should be plugging into those as well. But as a baseline, we have to at least show up, you know. And I want to share that thought, that expression that Keen shared with me, and Abby and I spoke about, and some of the things that from the conversation I had with Abby, she said, Roland, I think part of the issue is that you haven't been clear, and we're not, and the team isn't clear about, well, what's expected of us. Because I believe, Abby believes, Keen believes, I think all of you believe that if you know what you're supposed to do, then you do it, you know. And so part of the issue is folks just don't know, well, what the heck am I supposed to do? So one thing I want to make clear, one thing that you're supposed to do is attend these meetings. You have to attend the meeting. So this month, April, we dropped the ball. That means there's May, June, July. There's no question, no ifs, ands, or buts. If you have not attended a meeting, you have to sign up for one of these meetings. It is the second Thursday of every month. Second Thursday of every month. So May, June, July. Check your calendar, check it now, and then Abby is going to be following up with you about making sure that you sign up for one of these meetings. And I think, as I shared in the past, it's as simple as just committing your church. If you can't attend, ask someone from your church to do it. You know, it doesn't have to be you. Just ask someone to step up, and Keen would be there, so you could guarantee that your person won't be the only one there. So that's the first thing I want to share. And then, but another thing that Abby said, well, are there any questions about that, about attending the meetings?
Question:
Sure.
is attending the meeting, that's kind of like one of our only face-to-face opportunities, right?
I think that's the baseline face-to-face opportunity.
Okay.
We should be doing more. We have to do more. We will do more. But at the very least, I think that's just, that has to be a basic commitment.
Okay.
And the way it's set up, there's only 3 more meetings. Technically, you only have to attend one meeting, you know? Once you attend your meeting, most likely you're good for the rest of Park and Praise. So that's why it was unfortunate that we dropped the ball this month, because it's not an onerous commitment. Another thing that Abby said, she said, Roland, there's a lot of other stuff. We're talking about clarity. Well, are we clear about what it is that we're doing, not doing? And one of the things that, as I spoke with her, she kind of helped me kind of think through it. And the way in which I would like to I guess explain Park and Praise 2016 is that we're doing two activities, or two. We have 2 different tracks of programs. One is July. Oh, let me not do that finger. One is July 30th, and so we have our July 30th event. That's what we've done the past 3 years. Those who've been part of it, you know what that looks like. So there's July 30th. And that is what we would call the service project. So there's a service project that, and and that's pretty key. We're going to do that. That's what the action plans, they're geared towards the service project, July 30th. But then there's another component, and that other component is what we call advocacy. One of the things that we realized last year was we met people who lived on the streets, and they said, man, this is great, food is great, but I need a place to stay. I need housing. And when we tried to see if we could help them with housing, we realized, like, man, that's not something that we could accomplish in a day. That takes time. It takes commitment. It takes calls. It takes, follow through. It's a program. It's a heavy lift. And so that part is an advocacy part. We believe that Park and Praise, through all of us, that we could provide a voice to people who are voiceless, or people who are marginalized, powers that be, they don't listen to them. They look down upon them because where they live, how they talk, their background, etc. We believe that through our churches that we could provide them another voice. And that's what they want. That's what these meetings, the stuff that come out in the meetings, they say, man, like, they call us allies. So they want their allies to show up to say, like, hey, like, we hear you, we're here for you. And so the advocacy part, so there's a service project July 30th, and then there's the advocacy portion. And so the advocacy portion not only requires
Roland, if you can add Jessica, she's trying to call on another thing. So just don't answer that, folks. And if you could just add her.
Okay. Add Jessica. But Abby, can you finish that thought up while I add Jessica?
Can you pass the thought to me really quick, please?
About advocacy and the service project, like what advocacy looks like.
Okay, so as we were thinking about it more and more, it became apparent that there's two parts to what's going on this year, and one is a long-term goal and one is a short-term goal. The short-term is a day of event that we're going to have on July 30th. The long-term is actually helping the residents of Berry Farms and helping their voice get heard and assisting them with different like housing needs and so on and so forth. So not everybody is very knowledgeable about the different things that's going on. So we want to make sure that our volunteers and also the churches that are involved are they know what they're getting themselves into. So there's going to be an advocacy track. If you are more interested in helping the individuals, make sure they get their voice heard, making sure that they have a fair opportunity to stay in their homes or to be put back into their homes. That is going to kind of what you're going to do. And I'm going to be working with Keen and Roland to kind of iron out what that means to be an advocate for these individuals in Berry Farms. And then there is a service project, which is the day of event on July 30th, where we're coming in, we're giving away diapers, we're doing a music showcase, we're having health seminars, we're hopefully going to be giving away food and stuff like that. So kind of just ironing out the two different tracks that you can do. You can do both, but we want to make sure that people have the opportunity to choose where they want to be involved and how they want to be involved.
Thanks, Ab. I think you said that even better than I could, and so we just want to be clear that both of those things exist, and we need help in both areas. So, for example, this Wednesday, the residents of Berry Farms will be lobbying DC Housing Authority. So that's DC Housing. They control all of public housing in the district. And they will be lobbying DC Housing Authority with the intent to make sure that the budget is spent in a way to fix the homes in Berry Farms. So right now it's budget season for DC government, and they want to make sure that money is used towards repairing the existing homes. And so what they've asked their allies to do is several things. You can either show up and participate in this lobbying effort. That's during the daytime. That's from 12 p.m. all the way. They're going to be there as long as they need to be. Another option is that you can email. You can email the different government officials and let them know, hey, that this is something of a concern to you, and you want to make sure that Berry Farm residents are taken care of. You can also call the offices and you can let people know, hey, this is something that's really important. So one thing, the first commitment that we would like, and so in order to make this effective, Keen is going to draft talking points, and he will share those talking points with each of us, and that you can share that with whomever it is that you would like to participate. What we would be asking is is tonight is that you identify. We like everyone to commit to identifying 5 people that you know to participate in this drive. 5 people from your church, from your ministry, to either make a call, send an email, or actually physically attend. And so I'm going to go one by one. If you can't say 5, and if you can say more, or say more, however more you want to do, or if you can say less, say your less. But I want to hear everyone say how many they commit to participating in this lobbying drive.
What's the date, Roland?
Is Wednesday. But you can send your email at night. You can send your email early in the morning. So you can email, you can phone call, or you can physically attend.
Can we
So,
start like a social media something too?
oh what?
A social media wave? I don't know. How people have like hashtag stuff? Start some type of social media craze.
I think that what well let's table that idea and
The only reason I asked that is because it'll be easier for me to try and get
sure,
my Facebook friends to try and repost something
sure,
than to. I understand that it's an email, but
sure,
when it comes down to it, people will say, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it," but you have no way of
sure,
kind of proving that it's actually going to happen. So I can tell you
sure.
5 people, but I can't guarantee that my 5 people are going to actually do what I asked them to do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Kind of agree. Um, as I think that I could. Well, I would send out an email with the distribution list that I have. Kind of see if anyone have the time to go out there because I'm sure most of them live close to DC or work close to DC. But I could also put something on Facebook too, and tag people and message people via Facebook as well. So I'm gonna send a message out to over 80 people. That's kind of cheating, but
Okay. And to be clear, Abby, I'm not opposed to the social media idea. I just want to make sure that we're committing to contacting people, and then we could also talk about a social media push. Um, And I guess Luke, if you have an idea, since it's promotions, if you have an idea of what a social media hashtag would be, then we could all definitely, use it and share it, whatever, or if anyone has one. But I definitely want to hear from every single person on the call. So starting, so we've heard Abby. So Abby, do you commit to 5 more or less?
I can send it out to some people.
How
I
many
can
people?
I can send it out to 5 people.
All right, that's all I want to know. Von Rick,
I can do 5.
Jessica.
I could probably do more, but let me say 5.
Sure, sure.
Yes. I currently have at least 6 people, including myself, so 5. So I currently have 5 people willing to help, but I'm looking for it to be more, of course, because in order to achieve our goal, I'm going to need as many people as possible. But I'm looking more for quality than just quantity of a whole bunch of people, because there needs to be a focus on what we're trying to accomplish. I want everyone involved to be able to look on the Google Drive and look at the action plan for the diaper drive, which I will be updating, continuously as I get more information or as things progress. Because I think that each church should be involved with the diaper drive, and I actually can assist and help with it. But I'm thinking that would probably be a good way for us to help to accomplish our goal. And if each of us has, I don't want us as individuals to have to do anything, but if each church can at least host a diaper drive or an event, or if an individual wants to take on a diaper drive from each church, then that would actually help. And like I said, I would be here to assist. I could come there. If you look on the action plan, I actually broke down, like, according to dates, in 2-week duration, starting Sunday, May 1st, going all the way to July 29th, which is a Friday, which would be dates. Each in those 2-week durations, there should be a diaper drive, either at a church. I'm thinking there could be at least 2 diaper drives or 1 per week, but that wouldn't be. We have 10 churches that are all involved. So in each area or each church, we could try to have something according to those dates, which is, it's all lined out there as far as the timeline. So I'm just giving like a general overview, but I'm going to be reaching out directly to necessary individuals. And I'm also doing things on my own. I'm also going to talk to Yannick in more detail about this, and Ossie at Tacoma Park.
All right, all right.
Jessica, I will email you back eventually. I'm sorry, I've been sick and life is crazy, but I will email you back. I promise.
No, okay. I was just trying to be on top of things, so it's okay.
Jessica Brazier.
As far as concerning the diaper drive, I mean,
No.
because
I was trying to go down the. I was just going down the list to see if everyone's going to commit to following through with this Berry Farm. They need folks to allies to contact DC Housing, and so I just want to make sure everyone is on board to doing that this week. So I'm just going down the line as I see them on my screen. So I see Jessica Brazier. Are you committed? How many people can you commit to?
Yes, I will commit to 5 people, including myself.
Okay, Crystal.
Crystal doesn't really understand everything that's happening. She may have missed something,
Fair enough.
but
Fair
she
enough.
will commit as soon as she follows up with the rolling on tomorrow or tonight. Yep.
Well, in case anyone else doesn't understand, the thing is that DC Housing, they have a budget meeting where they're going to discuss how they're going to allocate funds for the public housing. And clearly the major issue is that these houses these may be demolished, and they may spend funds not on rehabilitating homes and moving people back into homes, but they can spend their funds in a way that just speeds up the gentrification process. And so there will be a budget hearing meeting on Wednesday of this week, and the residents of Berry Farms are asking their allies to support them by either emailing, physically attending, or calling the government officials who are responsible for deciding the budget.
Hey, Roland.
Yep.
So if we wanted to send, if someone wanted to send the email, is there an email address?
There's the email address, and we have basically. So Keen is going to create talking points and maybe some type of draft email, whatever, and you
Mm-hmm.
guys could just cater it to to your needs,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have an email address. It'll let you know who to send it to, etc.
Okay.
So,
Second question, real quick.
So you just press send, basically.
All right. So just a second question. So how many people need to be contacting these folks for it to actually start to make a difference? Or do we not know? Like, like
Yeah.
how many people before they start to say, okay, well, I think this is something that we need to take into consideration? Or are we just making noise right now just to kind of rattle them?
I think so. I think so. I mean, you asked a legitimate question. Earlier today I was thinking I have a few friends who are lobbyists, and I don't know, to some degree we have to, like, there needs to be more education on our part to know exactly how to be effective, or how to use our talents the most effective way.
Mm-hmm.
So what we are doing, I think I shared this with Keen, is until we get to a point where we could do this stuff ourselves, what we're doing is that we're plugging into an existing network, an existing framework. So there is a nonprofit that spearheads these efforts, and what we're doing is plugging into their system. So we are not the only ones who are doing it, but we're acting within the framework of a larger nonprofit.
Okay, cool.
But yeah. And then so Mahala, how many people can you commit to?
Is that for this Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay. At what time?
Like I said, you can either attend or you could call or email, but I think it's around 12 o'clock. But
Yeah. So
it's gonna be a long day activity though. Yeah.
can I
So will
interject real quick?
oh,
Sure.
This is Luke. So I just googled DC Housing Authority budget meeting, and I clicked on, I guess, the CNHED website, whatever, and it says April monthly meeting, DC FY 2016 budget briefing, Wednesday, April. Oh, I'm sorry. This says April 15th. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Okay,
there was
so
one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
the one on the 15th was from 12 to 2. Mount Vernon Place Methodist Church. So let me try to see if they have one for this coming Wednesday. The actual date. I mean the
um,
time and location.
while you're doing that, Luke, I had a quick question. Do we know if we send the emails, are they trying to have the emails and calls on Wednesday, or would they prefer that they be having happen leading up to Wednesday? Like, say we're sending stuff Monday, Tuesday, up to Wednesday morning.
I can see the advantage of having it in advance. I can see the advantage in that.
Okay. Well, is that
Okay.
something
So
we're? No, go ahead.
no, go ahead, Crystal. You can finish.
No, no. I was just gonna say, is that something we're we're considering, or are we just gonna go with the Wednesday plan?
I guess generally my thought is, and this is the low expectations, Roland. I just want us at this juncture to just do it,
Yeah.
and then the next juncture we'll figure out how to do it better. But right
Got
now,
it.
I just want us to just commit to
Do
doing
something.
it, and to do it, and
Yeah.
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 So maybe you guys could chastise me and say, Roland, you need to up your hopes, and I'll listen.
Well, we'll chastise you via action when we do it. No worries.
Um, I went on the DC, the Council of DC. I'm not sure if this is the same thing, but there's something. There's like three different things going on a day, and it's all say 10 a.m., 10 a.m., 10 a.m.
Yeah,
in different
as a
rooms.
matter of fact, you're right. I'm looking at the email from the nonprofit, and so the actual date is Thursday, April 21st. It's at 10 a.m. in room 500.
Okay, yeah, I see that right
You
here.
see that
The
one?
budget. It says budget oversight hearing committee on housing and community development.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one. So
Okay,
it's Thursday at 10 a.m.
okay.
All
So
right.
Wednesday it is.
Moving forward. There's other stuff that Abby and I spoke about, but I know that there's other stuff that we that that you know that other people, would like to address some of their action plans. And so I'll just briefly run through. One of the questions that Abby said is that people may be asking, well, how safe are our volunteers? Maybe people feel that way. You know, you're going into public housing, and your members may be wondering about that. This isn't Franklin Square Park. It's not McPherson Square Park. We're entering into another community, and people may have questions about that. So at a later date, we'll address some of these issues as we keep on going. Something else that we spoke about was about ministries sharing calendars. I know several of you represent ministries at your church, and your church probably has, or at least your ministry may have an event calendar where you kind of have a sense of, well, these are the activities that we would be doing over the next 3 months. And I think it would be ideal if we could communicate some of that stuff now, so that when we plan outreach or we plan the advocacy portion, that we have a sense of what's happening. For example, there are camp meetings, there are whatever, maybe you have another service project, and so we want to make sure that we are aware of those things. So that's something that Luke and I will probably follow up with you about, which would be to say, hey, if you have a ministry, do you mind sharing that calendar with us so we could create a general calendar? With that being said, the last thing that I like to say before I turn the floor over to Jessica Brazier is that is something that we haven't spoken about is educating our churches about why this matters, why what we're doing this year matters, why advocacy matters. And so what we really need to think about doing, and each church could think of it within the context of your ministry, is host an activity, host a program, and Park and Praise will show up. We'll show up. We'll if you want a speaker, we could have someone from Berry Farms. They're willing to come out there and they'll talk to to your church membership. So however you set it up, if it's during 11 o'clock service and you want someone to come, then we'll work to make that happen. If it's an AY program, we'll work to make that happen. You set the program up, however you set it up, and we'll plug ourselves in. And if you need music, we'll ask Crystal to somehow make musicians available. And we'll make all of that stuff work. You set it up, and we'll make it happen. But it needs to happen relatively quickly. So any questions people might have, where is Berry Farms located? How do I get there? What's the neighborhood like? If we could talk about that stuff directly with your church members. So that's the last thing that I like to say. Are there any questions about that?
I'm shaking my head no, but you can't see my video.
Yeah, because I never spoke to Crystal about the whole music part, but you know what I mean. But we'll
That's
talk about
fine.
it. Yeah,
No worries. No
yeah,
questions here.
yeah. We'll make it happen. With that being said, Jessica Brazier has been working on the fundraising push. Well, before she goes, the last thing I like to say, I want to thank everyone for their action plans. Everyone who's created an action plan and submitted an action plan. I think for the number of churches, considering the number of churches, the amount of action plans that we have received has been tremendous. And so I'm really thankful that, to me, that's evidence, speaking to what we talked about a little while ago, that's evidence of people putting their money where their mouth is. It's saying like, hey, we committed to it, we did it, here it is. And so I'm thankful for everyone that's done it. And for those who haven't, I implore you that next meeting, that has to be the cutoff point. Everyone's action plan has to be completed by the next meeting. No ifs, ands, or buts. I don't know. I don't like to say that because there's really no enforcement. I can't arrest you. I can't kick you out of Park and Praise. But the Spirit of God telling you.
Use a stern voice, Roland.
It has to be completed. So that's the last of asking people to do it. So with that being said, thank you very much, everyone who's done it. We really really appreciate you, and you make Park and Praise a success. So Jessica Brazier, will turn the floor over to you. And as Abby said, in the weeks to come, everyone will have an opportunity. So next week we'll have the diaper drive people. They'll present on diaper drives. But so Jessica Brazier.
Thank you, Roland, and it's so good to be connected with you guys. Good evening, and sorry that I'm late. Um, what's really cool about the action plan that I'm going to present tonight, it's the fundraising action plan, and just for your reference, it should be uploaded to the Google Drive. Thanks to Abby and Roland. Really appreciate you guys helping me with that. And I just wanted to walk through it to get your input, because one thing that we'll have to realize is that we're contributing with our independent action plans, but there's so many connection points that we have to think about. For example, I think I even have some diaper drive alludings in the fundraising action plan, and I just want to make sure that I'm connecting with the other Jessica and other people on the team to make sure that we're doing things cohesively. So do you guys have it open, or do you have access to it by any chance?
We can.
Awesome.
We're all pulling it up.
Thank you so much, you guys. I think it'll be easier if we are able to all walk through it together, and I can get your feedback real time.
There's
And
two ones in here. There's untitled something, and then a PDF.
Yeah, sorry, Jessica, I'm not going to be able to access anything because I'm still on the road.
no problem. Be safe. Don't try to open anything while you're driving.
Hey, Roland, you can actually share the screen. If you open it and share the screen, you can do that.
Roland has the
Okay.
power.
Okay. There goes Abby.
That's a great idea, Abby. Abby's always solving problems.
That's okay.
I see two Abby screens.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my computer's tripping.
You're
Thank you,
still not
guys.
allowed to see the screen, Mahala.
Okay, guys, so I'll start. Just, I know for the sake of time, I want to make sure I'm respectful to you guys, and there are quite a few things listed on here, but a lot of them are going to take your support and involvement, so I'm really looking forward to your feedback. First, fundraising goal. One thing here, and I know we started off with a large goal at the beginning of our planning year. Um, uh, However, I wanted to put out right now that we're about 2 months away from the event, and we've got an aggressive timeline, I just wanted to put something out there. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I put $31,500 in diapers funds by our event date, and of course in support of our annual mission to target the needs of the poor and the underserved in our metropolitan area. And a lot of times when you have a fundraising goal, you want to back it with like a fundraising message. So why are we doing this? And it's to what Roland was just saying, how we need to do some education behind the advocacy and fundraising efforts, why the need is so compelling. And I thought a good fundraising message, but I again welcome your feedback, could be we see and we care about Barry Farm. So it's kind of that message that you can't just stand by and ignore what's happening, but this is our poorest neighborhood in the nation's capital. 2 out of every 3 people don't have access to housing, food, education, health, providing families with diapers. So does that sound like a good, overarching fundraising message? Of course, there are a lot of additional messaging points that go under that, but if we're collectively putting out the message, and if we're putting together some slides as we get ready for church roadshows or promotional materials, that can kind of be how we package it, if you guys think that's a good idea. So
I
next
love it.
on the action plan is the... You love it? Great. Is that
This
Luke?
is Luke, yes, because Roland,
Awesome.
that's a great hashtag as well. we see and we care Berry Farms. We can also use that in promotion and things like that. So there you go, Roland. Promotion. Give all the credit to Jessica.
No credit to me. But I will say this: the reason I did kind of want to go with that as a is coming together to such and such is because I wanted to broaden it beyond a religion thing or a church thing. I wanted it to be compelling to everybody who can play a part in this, even though we are the sponsors of it. So I thought that was a compelling you could play a part in. If you see what's going to motivate you to give. So from a fundraising perspective, that's why I wanted to go with a message like that, or I'd recommend a message like that. But of course, we can refine it and have sub-messaging and things like that. Quickly moving on, fundraising tactics, I would suggest we take a blended approach. And again, I want to think big, but I also wanted to think realistically and practically. So based on just my initial assessment of what's going on, I thought that this would be a reasonable plan. Our first tactic would focus on individual giving from major sponsors, like individual sponsors who have the capacity to give at least $1,000. So what I was hoping to get from you guys, if time permitted, I would have done it right now during the call, was get names of people who you know are in your churches, who are, the go-to people who have deep pockets, who, when making a request like this, we can give them a call, write them a letter, and they would be good to give us $1,000. If we get 10 of those people, at least 10 of those people, that gets us to $10,000 of our goal automatically. Now, if we get more, and that is my hope, that we exceed our goal. I didn't want to be so ambitious that we wouldn't meet our goal, but I would love for us to exceed our goal. If we get more, that's even better. But I am looking for you guys to give me the names of people like Lois Peters, or the list goes on in our churches, who we know are traditional givers, or even those who are not traditional givers, but who have the capacity to give in that way. The next tactic, it's not so much individual giving, but it's something that we've already started. Major donor groups, a lot of our partner churches, for example, might be good for pop, $1,000 a pop. Wanted to see, how we're doing with getting those commitments from our partner churches, but also wanted to create at least a strategy around that if we haven't reached out to some of our churches. So I might have the number wrong too, Abby and Roland. If it's more than 7, please let me know. But I just wanted to make sure that we had an official list and an official outreach done to our local churches who we want to commit to this.
The number is 10, and in the
Okay.
past, we've only asked for $400.
Want us to up it by 100?
I've asked for 500.
Yeah, let's. If you don't mind, we can up it by 100. 500 is a nice round number. I think, if we can get 10 at 500, actually that helps us raise our goal as well. That gives us $5,000. So, that's something that I'd love to get a representative from each church, and we can follow up together on how you're doing with getting your church to commit. The next fundraising tactic, and again, I'm running through these, but I want everyone to give feedback, but volunteer fundraisers, and this is who I'm hoping are you guys, Park and Praise ambassadors. Now, Roland explained to us last time we met that due to Adventist giving constraints, we can't go online funding site that is sponsored under the name Park and Preference. However, if we go rogue and individually raise money as ambassadors, we can do it. And I think we really can, especially if we tap into not just our church networks, but our professional networks, our friends outside of church, our local communities. And I'm hoping that, on this call, any given week, we've got 13, 14, 10, we've got a lot of people who are interested in this. I'm hoping we can get 20 volunteers who can create individual fundraising pages, and we can each raise $500. And the good news about this is I just need to get the list. I'm hoping that everyone on the call is already committed. I would give you the site. So Abby suggested, what's the name of the site you suggested? I have it on here at the bottom, but I just want to make sure I have it. Classy, it's actually like the best rated crowdfunding site, and I can send you guys content and the logo so that we can at least all have fairly consistent pages, and it should also have a link to our website. But that's something that we can all drive individually, and can help us raise money. So that would give us up to $10,000. Church Roadshow, which is in perfect alignment with what Roland just mentioned. So, as part of this, we've got to get our churches involved. And I actually think it could be a presentation during the giving portion of a divine hour service. Or, as Roland put it, if your church does have the capacity to do an AY event or something more formal outside of the divine hour period, that could even work. But I would love for this to be organized like a roadshow where we go up and present. Maybe if we have our t-shirts already, we can present in our t-shirts. We have a few standard slides or a handout that we could pass out, so we can tell people how they can contribute via online giving. We can give people information about why we're doing it, but we at least give people with a package of slides and materials that they can use when doing this at their churches. And we need to work on getting the calendar of that so that, maybe various people can support different churches on different days. So, a church roadshow that would begin, and hopefully by our collective church roadshows and giving that results from that, at least $3,000. I'm hoping for a lot more, but I wanted to give a safe benchmark. Then the next fundraising tactic is events. Jessica mentioned this earlier, but I would love to see every church have a drive, whether it's us putting a box or a playpen. I saw in one of, I think that document that Roland shared with us with fundraising ideas that the diaper drive place provided. Churches can have like a big box where they collect diapers, and maybe on a weekly basis, we get them to a secure location. But it should culminate in a big community baby shower event, something where we have live music, fun games, and really drive people to give. And by that event, hoping to raise $2,500. I've even seen, it's something we'd have to plan, but I've seen it either being hosted at a church, or some people recommended hosting it outside of a CVS or a store like Target, because sometimes people on their way out will give to the event. So it's something we can consider, but I just wanted to let you know that the community baby shower is another tactic we can use. And then, of course, online e-giving, social media campaigns. So we've got this great website, and while we might not be able to on our website say give via this site, we can at least put instructions on how to give via Adventist Giving. We can direct people to the t-shirt fundraiser, but we need to have that get momentum through like social media. So really starting with our social media campaign, starting with the website public launch to other things. I'm sorry, there's a little typo in that section of the action plan, but it's super draft and I'll edit it after. So that's a super high level overview of like the few bundle of tactics I was thinking we could use that would be realistic between now and June 25th. Any quick feedback on that before we move on?
Looks good. Looks really good.
It seems realistic, right? And I think that's what I was trying to go for, something that seemed practical, so we wouldn't be like, oh, this is impossible. I want us to feel like we can do it. Yes, we can, right? Obama style.
I mean, it looks so good. I almost want to donate Abby's money.
Thank you, Roland.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to go with Roland's feedback for now. Let's just really quickly go through the 60-day timeline and plan for how this could work. So the sponsors. This week would be our week to identify 10 prospective sponsors. So again, I would love if we could even go through this call. If you guys could shoot out a couple names of people you think can give $1,000, people you know. You can shoot me an email. I would just love to know people who you have top of mind who can do something like that. Following that, we'd call them, based on relationships. Some of you might do direct calling, or I could call if you guys think that would be helpful. We'd follow up with a sponsorship request letter. Then we'd collect donations. I'd actually try to see if we could do these donations through the formal Adventist giving, giving them, specific instructions. And of course, we'd have an opportunity to acknowledge sponsors who are willing to be acknowledged at the actual event. So that's kind of like the activities that would correspond to that tactic. Our ambassadors. First of all of you guys willing to be ambassadors? I hope to hear a resounding yes.
Can you tell us what the role is again?
Yeah, just the ambassador is, what is that?
All you have to do is set up a classy, it's a crowdfunding page, but it's under your name, and it's almost like, have you guys ever run a marathon where you had to raise money? Any of us?
I have
Yeah,
not.
sort of, kind of.
Okay.
Probably
Okay.
sell some cookies or something like that. Some
Okay,
total
you guys all get it then,
peanut
where
brittle.
you have an individual goal and everybody's collective individual goals, help us meet the whole target. Literally, all of us would create our individual pages, crowdfunding pages, and by reaching out to our networks, our colleagues, we will raise money. All of us have a $500 goal, and our professional associates or our friends, they contribute $10, $20. If you get 50 people to donate $10, that's your $500 raised. But we all take on the challenge of raising $500. That's all it is as an ambassador. I give you all the content for the page. You can tweak it, of course, make it your own, make it sexy, make it appealing. But on our biweekly calls, we give progress reports. And then we close the GoFundMe pages or classy pages a week before our event, and we tally it up, and we each individually go ahead and submit our fundraising effort amounts to the Adventist Giving site, just like you're giving a donation online to Park and Praise. So we would do it that way. And then, of course, you guys would be acknowledged at the event as well. Does that make sense?
I think it does make sense. I think that my major concern would be the content, just making sure it's very streamlined and professional, and that it doesn't look like, I don't want people to be like, well, I mean, I'm friends with Abby and I'm friends with Luke. Why are they both asking for money for this same event? So I just want to make sure that it's the content is there in a way so they know that, hey, we are Park and Praise ambassadors, and each one of us are setting out to reach a potential goal for this overall event. So my whole thing is kind of coming up with the content for everything, what the event is about, and having that content and what this ambassador's effort is, so that if somebody asks us questions, boom, this is it, so that we are as
Exactly.
legit as we are, and it doesn't look like bootlegs. And we're like, oh well, we're kind of raising money so that we can have an ice cream party in July. So as long as everything is kind of just like professional, and we can get kind of maybe like a sponsorship deck or something about the event, to where it's in hand or it's digital, so it's somebody's like, hey, tell me more. Okay, cool. Check out this, 5-page blah blah blah. So, because I just don't want it to fall by the wayside where people, start asking questions and think we're being sketchy or something like that, or a way that we could find a way to like a way to where we endorse people to say, yes, they are doing X, Y, and Z, because I don't want, the shysters to come and be like, hey, I'm raising money for Park Praise too, and break off with $200. So a way to make it look official, that is officially endorsed by Park and Praise. Maybe they have our official logo, or tell people this is what you look out for to make sure that this is us, stuff like that. That's what I think of, because anybody can make something and say they're raising it for X, Y, and Z. But I want to make sure that whoever's affiliated with us has the proper content, and that we can say, yes, that person is with us. Hello? Hello?
I think Jessica got kicked off for some reason. Um, Park and Praise.
Well, it is recorded, so she can go back and hear what you said, Abby, if she did not hear you.
I just re-invited her. But this thing look good.
I know. Um, yeah.
Can we put Jessica in charge of making the content?
She says she's making the content.
Praise the Lord.
That's what she said. She's gonna. She said all you have to do is just plug it in. At least that's what I heard her say.
Well, I think
But
we
Oh,
should just
bless
go
the
ahead
Hey
and
Lord.
guys,
just.
I'll
I'm
bet I did.
sorry. I had a accident.
It's all good. We were
And
just praising your work.
no, 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 please don't. And I'm sorry, Abby, you just made the most awesome point, and it cut out right when you were making it. And I just want to say I completely agree. And that's why I was saying that I want to send everybody at least packaged content. It's almost like we have a brand, right? So, of course, you can diverge from it a little bit, make it your own, feel free to give it your own color and spin. But we do want it to have some pretty language that this seems legit. When everything like we very official or park and praise. I have a goal, et cetera, et cetera. So good point. Okay. Um, did you guys already move on, or am I still on the right part?
It's on you.
Okay. Next, the church roadshow. The first thing for me is, you know, maybe I can work with Abby and Roland to get that list of who's representing each church. I know it's probably already on the site. Forgive me, I haven't looked at it yet. But I want to see if I can work with people to get on the calendar to do tithe and offering or some segment. If you guys have like an outreach segment during that's why I like Divine Hour, even though I know we mentioned the AY, you get the biggest audience at Divine Hour. You even get people watching online. And I just wanted to make sure that we opened the word to as many people as possible. It's our opportunity to give an overview, create the compelling need, and to invite people to give right then and there while they're filling out their tithe envelopes. So that's a great opportunity to get some folks to give via church roadshow and to also bring awareness about the event. So it's like a double-edged sword, a double whammy. um, you know, for that event, similar to the fundraising pages, want to make sure that we have at least a couple slides. This might seem ambitious, but ideally, if not this year, maybe next year, it would be so cool if we had a little video or something like a commercial. Um, maybe I could talk offline with a few people to see if that is possible this year. If not, just a few slides and us getting up there and showing our commitment and telling people that we see and we care about Barry too, and all of that. So I would like for us to begin this roadshow by the 7th of May, which I think is the first official Sabbath in May. Yeah, that is the first official Sabbath in May, and then weekly up to the event. Then the community baby shower, again in
so
partnership with
so
Jessica. So
so
this has a lot of contingent. Go ahead,
yeah.
Roland.
So I think in order for that to work, what would need to happen um, is that would have to create some type of spreadsheet. Abby, if you could create a spreadsheet, and all of us would need to with the dates and everything, and everyone would just have to sign up for a week. They just sign their church up for a week. I think that's the way that would work. That way, we're not kind of constantly trying to figure out, well, who's gonna go next. If you want everyone to go for the next 10 weeks, then we probably just need to set it up like that.
Oh, you're right. Not everybody go, but I'm hoping our people, the people who own that church, will lead that announcement.
Right.
However, if
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Sorry.
does that make sense?
I just want to know what Roland just signed me up to make a form for.
Well, I thought I heard Jessica. I thought I heard you say something else, but maybe I didn't. So, I, I, if you could repeat what your thought was concerning, you said May 7th is the start date, and then every week thereafter, what's happening every week thereafter?
Well, May 7th is a start date, and hopefully we continue the church roadshow um, until the last week in June. But I guess I should be clearer. You're right. I wasn't clear. It doesn't mean necessarily that, like, for example, you might have 3 church presentations on the same day if that's the Sabbath they had available. So it may not be that every Sabbath is a roadshow event, but I just wanted to give the impression that it's ongoing through the last week in June. However, the people who would do that roadshow, it would be hopefully a member of that church. And if, Roland or Abby or anybody else can make it there to do it with you, try to recruit some people so that you're not alone. Just make sure that you leverage the goodness of the team. But I'm hoping we can get a schedule going so that we can have these roadshow presentations.
So then, Abby, don't worry about what I said.
But you're right, we still do need a calendar. We just have to ask all of our people who are designated for churches to at least confirm what date they will be presenting, or they can get on the Divine Hour schedule. I'm going to go fast. I know it's getting late, guys, and I'm so grateful for your patience. The baby shower, the community baby shower, hopefully in partnership with Jess, with the diaper drive, culminating into something like this that can be the big bang. I envision it, it's something we have to confirm an event sponsor, all of that. But ideally, I think this could also be like a big promotional kickoff for our bigger event on the 25th. So I'm thinking it could be either the first or second Sunday in June, kind of like that big pre-event. I'm hoping we can also get some live music. So since Roland keeps on volunteering Crystal, maybe she can help us identify an artist who's looking for some exposure and could help us have a fun event, something fun, lighthearted, whatever. And then the online campaign. So, our website, we have to get our website ready for prime time. So making sure that t-shirt fundraiser link, we're ready to go and start advertising it on the website. I think our donation button on the website, I think that was the last thing that we were working on. If we can't do the formal donate per Roland's last comment, hoping we can at least put instructions for Adventist giving or giving through a Park and Praise ambassador. And then we can also on the website advertise upcoming giving events like the community baby shower. So of course this happens progressively, how we update the website, but just want to make sure that as you prepare to really go live with our fundraising campaign, that we can send out our website, because that's where people will go to really say like, wow, this is legit. I can learn more about Berry Farm here or this or that. So that's big. And then as Abby was mentioning earlier, social media is so huge. So we're going to ask our ambassadors and other folks to do shares of things that we put out, and whether it's via Twitter or Facebook or whatever, just so that we can keep things going. So we'll have the website reveal when that happens. We'll want to get that out. When we're announcing the t-shirt fundraiser, we want to get that out. And then all the countdown to PnP activities that we'll be doing. So, in a nutshell, lead, but if there's anything else, I think that we need at least another 2 people help plan.
Jessica, your phone is
To me, I'll be honest, is sorry. What about now?
you're good.
Okay. Okay, so hoping we can get another 2 people to support fundraising efforts to make all this possible. If any of you are interested, let me know. I'd love to have you on my team. Um, in June, we might need to amp it up to 4 people, just because it's going to get busier and busier. I also think, honestly, and again, I like to be a realist, we'll need about $500 to cover some of the costs for printing and things like that. I only said 500. It would probably be more, but there's some of it that I think I just wanted to at least be upfront about that. And that's, the overarching plan, you guys. It's an aggressive timeline. I know, there's a lot going on between now and June 25th, but I think it's something we can do if everybody's on board.
think, Jessica, that promotions and fundraising kind of go hand in hand. Because a lot of the stuff that you put in your action plan, I think deals with basically promoting the event, but while raising money. So, I definitely, um, if we can, get together, um, and then, me, you, Mahala, whoever else, kind of, you know, we can work together and with these events and stuff like that.
Completely agree, and I'm so glad you said that because promotions are good, but promotions allows you to get the most out of marketing. And so I would agree that if we can work together and coordinate and integrate our plans, that would be amazing.
Jessica, I think this is excellent, excellently done. So thank you for putting that much time into it. I think the only thing that we would need to move forward is kind of like a marketing plan and like a sponsorship deck to be able to give materials to people who are interested in donating or who do donate, um, just to kind of give them some type of literature. So I think that you are off to a great start, and also merging with promotions will be great. So you all kind of brainstorming about the material that you need to put things in hand and to also get things started on social media be a great place to be.
Good stuff. And Abby, you nailed it. That's why you see some delays here because we've got to build content to give to people to make this official. We can't just ask for money without having materials that show the legitimacy of the cause that we're dealing with here. And we've got to build materials. And again, if I've got any, I'm glad to support that, but I do think I'll probably need a team of one or two more, or maybe in partnership with the promotions team, we can build some of those materials. And the good thing is we don't all have to go off and create our own things, but just a couple things can go a long way. So let's see if we can create a couple things, repurpose that messaging on the website, on our flyer, everywhere, and that can
And
take us a long way.
and this is where people could see how the action plans are interrelated because um, Jessica, your plan encompassed promotions, getting the word out. It also included the diaper drives, which so getting the word out. That's Community of Hope and CPC who are organizing that effort. You spoke about the diaper drive. That's Tacoma Park in Miracle City. You also spoke about creative content. That's Wheaton Church. They are the ones who are taking the lead on creating content. So the stuff that you just described and social media pushes, those are things that Wheaton would be taking the lead on. So hopefully this is an opportunity for all of us to see why it's important for us to plug in because and then you also then at the very end you said that that you need volunteers. That's RPC. You said that there's a cost $500, and that's Seabrook with the budget. And then I also heard you say music. Again, that's Seabrook with the budget. So I think we can all see um, how we fit in with each other's action plans and why it's important for us to be speaking with whomever is the point of contact on the contact list, because someone should be looking to find to build a team or coordinating with Abby to establish a team so they could help meet these objectives. So one thing that I did not see, and based upon what I've heard you state, I didn't hear you say, well, when do you need this created content by? If you're not doing it, then when do you need the content? You know.
Actually, Roland, I do. So technically, so for example, do you see on the activity for the sponsors where we say follow up with formal sponsorship request letter? I would say, at least based on this, and now if we need to adjust, I probably need to talk to the team that are responsible, and I put my name there, not because I thought I would do it, but I thought I would at least coordinate who would do it. Um, Similarly, like the messaging for the ambassadors, all of that stuff, I have a lot of it happening by the end of this week, early next week, just so that we can get going by the beginning of May, since that's just 2 months out from our event. Um, is anybody from the content team on? Is that possible for us to work on together to at least get some initial things out this week?
They're not on tonight. But again, the contact for their contact information is listed. Is Tim and Shadeen. Their contact information is listed. I'm not sure if it's possible or not, but to some degree, I know that some content I would have to play a role in drafting, but to the extent possible, um, I think they would be the first. I think I would reach out to them first and connect to them first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's on the Google Drive, right? The list.
Yes, everyone's contact information is included in the Google Drive, and
And their role, like I'll know that their content.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay. And okay. Do you think
So,
so?
so
I
to be clear,
know
so to be
that
clear,
my last question.
yeah.
Roland?
Yes.
I
Gisela, go
can't.
ahead, Jessica.
No, I can't hear you. I heard you begin to say something, but then it stopped.
No, I stopped. I stopped talking.
Oh, you did stop. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue or do you want me to?
No, I'm done.
Okay, my last little question. I know we're gonna have to go in just a bit, but I know I put, I need volunteers, and I need
Jessica,
volunteers, but
pause,
I
pause, pause.
also
Hold on, Jessica, hold on. Your
agree
phone
on
is so
this.
silly. All right,
And to Luke's point,
wait.
think that
Try start again, please.
what
Your
happened?
phone is like your phone is doing like a roller coaster voice.
Oh, really? That's funny. Oh, so where
Oh,
do I start
sorry.
from?
Okay, you said something about volunteers.
Volunteers. I'm going to go slow. So to Roland's point and Luke's point, I understand the need for volunteering. There's also a level of integration that I'm wondering, do we have like tiger team leadership committees, like the fundraising promo content committee? I don't know. Like, would it make so it's not just the volunteers, but I almost think I need to be in coordinate with some of the leaders to make sure that vision on work collectively on those goals. Um, is that something we can do too? Like just kind
It,
of have like integrated committees that come together.
I would say if you write down the ideal list of things that you need or things that you think that you'll need, because I was able to meet with somebody else today who's working with me, volunteers, and we were able to break down some other things that we think would be needed for different things. So if you put together an ideal list of stuff and then share it with us, we can see if it can be created within the team or if we have to reach out to more people that will help us with the volunteer committee figure out who we need to kind of try and recruit or who we already have that's willing to do that or shift or who else we can team in. And that goes for everybody because we're going to be reaching out this week or over the next couple weeks to kind of get your content and description of the volunteers that you are looking for and what the jobs will be and kind of how many people you'll need. So if you all can start kind of thinking about that, but if everybody puts together, ideally, this event is to go 100% perfect, every moving part that you would need, then we have a better idea of how we can supply that or who we need to contact in order to fill in those gaps. So if there's something
Awesome.
that you feel like we don't have and you feel like it would be helpful,
go ahead and put that in writing, and then we can see what we can do to kind of make that happen.
But Abby,
Uh,
I heard Jessica say something different. I heard her say that how we just discussed that she needs to work with the promotion fundraising is closely in sync with promotions and with content, and if there would be like these subgroups that would have their own conversations to make sure that they're on the same page, and maybe music is in another subgroup with security. I don't know, but everyone will there will be these different like committees within Park and Praise, and the answer to that question, Jessica, is no one has ever asked that before. uh, so I think it makes sense. Um, it makes sense. I guess I have two approaches, and one approach is not the best approach, but is my instinct says that could happen organically. That's what my instinct says. Um,
okay.
the this the and the best approach would be if it was created as such, if we like had standing committees or groups. Um, but I guess I, this goes back into cautious rolling of I don't want to over expect and what people are able to commit to, and then so there's a part of me that says that it would be great if we set that up where we just said, all right, these are standing committees, and then maybe you guys decide when you chat with each other. um, um, I mean, I guess I could send around a guest list, of what I think people would do. What do you think, Abby?
um, I believe it. If we need it done, I think we should be able to reach out to one another and make this stuff happen. If we're all on the same page, we're reaching this common goal. If we have to if we have to make these subcommittee groups to make it happen, and I think everybody on this group would oblige. I
Got
also
it.
think
I
that
love
it's
that.
1 minute to 10 o'clock.
Let's go.
Yes. So I think we've exhausted everyone to the fullest extent. But again, I want to thank everyone for participating in tonight's call. It was definitely um, a lot of great information. I thought it was a very productive call, and please look out for if you're on Luke's team, look out for Luke's emails or his text messages, however, or calls, however he contacts you. Abby has T-shirts. How much are the T-shirts again, Abby, for the staff?
$15.
$15. As of last week, you can now pay for the T-shirts on via PayPal by sending it to parkandpraise@gmail.com. So we do have a PayPal account set up,
I
and
can also invoice everybody.
she can invoice everyone, Abby, and you could just pay. So when you invoice, I guess through parkandpraise@gmail, they would receive.
An email saying, "Hey, they need $15."
Okay, there it is. And so look out for a T-shirt invoice, and you'll get your T-shirt. And and thank you very much for participating. I'll ask Yannick to close us out in prayer.
All right. First of all, I want to apologize for just jumping on the call now. So that's on me. Got a
You
lot.
made it.
I made it. I mean, we had revival tonight, so I was helping out with that. But anyways, let's pray. Um, Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the people on this call and those that couldn't make it. Thank you for their dedication to spreading your good news to those who need to hear it, dear Father. We want to bless everyone here, keep them in the shadow of your almighty wing. Bring us back here to the next meeting with fresh ideas, new insight in order to make this program accomplish what you want to accomplish, dear Father. Have all obstacles that are seen or unseen, help us to find a way either around them or through them, however
You want us to conquer them, dear Father, so that we can accomplish the task at hand, dear Father, and just bring us all back for our next call. We love you. We thank you for what you've done for us and what you continue to do for us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. So remember, everyone, 5 commitments. You made 5 commitments. Next 2 weeks, we'll reconvene. Adios.
All right, see ya.